What is Bitcoin? You see the price is going up. Things are doing good. We are at 71,800 US dollars. And I want to go back to the basics today. I want to explain the steps by steps of why Bitcoin and what it is, the core principles and the basics of it. So I know a lot of people are in this space. They don't really get the idea, and a lot of new people coming in, they need to know the basics so they don't hurt themselves. So welcome. I hope you watch till the end because this is a prerequisite to everything else. Otherwise, you may get burned or you may get wrecked, like we say in this space. You can hurt yourself in many ways. So you need to know the basics. In everything else you're learning, you get yourself into, you need to know what it is and how to use it, so you don't harm yourself. So Bitcoin is simply a network, and there's nothing here to get afraid of, right? There's nothing. Bitcoin may sound um, a little bit scary, but it's the most friendly thing in the world right now. So there's nothing to be worried about. Even the mainstream media let you make you think it's a scary thing, it's dangerous, but no, it's a very good thing, and it will be very useful for you and your family and everything in every step in the way. So I'm going to start with uh, the definition of Bitcoin as a network. It's just simply a few computers, just like this, right? A computer, which is this is just a Raspberry Pi, which is a small computer board, right? We just like a computer board. Your phone uses a computer board as well, right? But this Raspberry Pi is purposely built for some task, right? So we use those Raspberry Pi to um, run a Bitcoin node. A node is simply a record of all the transactions that happen in the network. So we want to make sure that nobody cheat on the network, and the way we do that is to record all of those transactions in this this is like a disk memory card, like a memory card that saves all those transactions, so we know who owns what, right? And if you uh, this is the network, and each of those are kind of like a node, right? Like those small computers, they spread all around the world, all across the world, um, and then they just recording the transactions and make sure nobody cheat, right? So that's one part of Bitcoin, and the other part of Bitcoin I want to show you here is the miners. Okay, so the miners, they are basically workers on the network. They are the one doing the work. All the heavy liftings are being done by the miners. They are protecting the network, and they are putting energy in the network to make sure um, not only protecting the network, but also to give value to the network at the same time. And also they served a big a very very important um, thing for Bitcoin, because they make sure that the money is not being created for free, right? So a miner is using energy, real world energy, to receive new mine Bitcoin, right? So they are not mining the Bitcoin, they are providing a service to the network, right? And then they receive the Bitcoin in reward for that service, right? So they are not controlling the network, they can't control it, they only provide a work, a service to the network. And the nodes, they are the one making sure that nobody cheats, right? No miner can cheat on the network. No user can cheat on the network. No external forces can cheat on the network, right? So let's get that out of the way. So now we know nodes, they just record all transactions, and the miners, they do the work, right? They do the proof of work, which is what is necessary, right, to produce the a good money, right? Like you need energy, you need time, you need information to process those bitcoins. So, and to visualize what I just said, this is um, the network. Um, in plain sight, you can see each transactions that happen. For example, 9 minutes ago, we had a collection of transactions that happen. Those transactions, this is the all the record of all the transactions that happen, right? So one of those miners find this block, right? Um, find this. The block is when you find a block, when a miner find a block, it's a random um, selection. You can randomly guess a number, and then when that miner guess that number, like randomly, it's depend on how much energy, proportional to how much energy you are generating on the network. When you get that guess of the number, and you receive, you get to construct a block, right? So if you are single mining miner, you can construct the block yourself. If you mine with the pool, they call that, it's a collection of miners who putting together to mine. And then the pool can construct the block, and the block is basically all the transactions that happen in that time. So in average, transaction a Bitcoin block is fine every 10 minutes on the network. So 10 minutes is the time required for global coordination, right? So you need time for the transaction to spread all across the world for everybody to agree on the same um, order, right? So otherwise, you don't have, if transaction would have to happen every 1 minute, then you don't have global coordination, right? So because information cannot travel across the world in just 1 minute, you need 10-minute block time to for everybody to agree on what happened, right? So this is what set Bitcoin apart from other crypto, because those of the other cryptos that say they are faster and quicker, right? They are faster and quicker is because they try to go faster than the speed of light, which is impossible. So we're gonna get to that later, okay? So we see a block, see like a miner can construct a block, and when they find the block, and then you see the reward at the time, which is 3.21 plus the fees. They got all the fee generated by those transactions, and that's the reward. That's about 231,000 US. So um, that's a block, and then we're gonna go to mining um, data. So this is the mining right now. This is the hash rate. Our hash rate is at 741 exahash. That's amount of energy. That's the rate of the energy that's flowing into the network. Um, a difficulty. We're not gonna go through that right now. We can leave that for later, for a later video. So this is the rate the Bitcoin mining is growing. So if you look from the past 3 years, we went from about 170 exahash to up to all the way up to 780 98 exahash. So almost 6 to 7x. Yeah, almost six times of mining in 3 years. So that's an exponential chart. So now we know what is a node, which is the rules of the network, that unbreakable, right? With miners, those are the one providing the service, right? Those all those miners providing service to the network. And then we know how the block, which is a transaction. And when people heard the word block, and they think it's a magic or something like very dangerous. No, it's just information. It's just a data, right? Just information, and then that a miner find. That's simply that. I know it's a very bad name, but they just like that. So now we have the this, and this is the Bitcoin clock as well. So every you can see this chain of transactions go all the way back to January 3rd 2009, right? This all these transactions, right? So you can go all the way back to the first transactions, which is the Genesis block, and every 10 minutes, and the network never get interrupted. um, um, I think the last time it was interrupted around 2011, something like that, but it was since then it was never really stopped. So now to Xavi, it's very good record in my opinion. So now we know the blocks, we know um, uh, transactions. Now we're gonna look deeper into what is um, address, Bitcoin addresses and transactions. So now if the Bitcoin network, you use something called public and private key. Now again, this is not something to scare you. It's just like a secret. Let's say you have an email, right? The email address is say Paul at gmail.com, right? Paul at gmail.com is your public address, right? For your email to receive the email. So this is the same thing for a Bitcoin address, right? This is the same thing. This person gave that address to the sender. This is a sender, and then this person we receive 0.0239 Bitcoin. So that's the public address of that person. So and then the private key is like your password to get into the email. So when you can use that password, and then you can access that email. It's the same thing here. You can use that private key for your Bitcoin to access that Bitcoin, right? So it's simple. It's just simple. So now, um, now we're gonna look how to create a public and private key. But before we do that, and I'm going to show you the easy way you can visualize and experience what I'm saying here. You can use a wallet like Wallet of Satoshi. You can use that on chain, like which is basically the base layer Bitcoin transaction. You can have your own um, Bitcoin address, and you can have a Lightning address, which is a layer on top of Bitcoin. So if you want faster and cheaper transactions, but let's leave that for later. But so this is one of the way you can visualize, experience what I'm saying here. So you can use something like Wallet of Satoshi, so to interact with the network, right? Or you can use something like Moon, which is also another way you can interact with the network. You can receive, you can send Bitcoin, and all of that, right? So you can see your address and everything. And then you have the Blue Wallet as well, which is another way you can receive and send Bitcoin as well. You can create your own Bitcoin wallet. So now let's go on how you can do it. But I know, like, A lot of people will not have to do that. The wallet itself will do that for you, but I'm just gonna show you in the background can how that wallet is being created. Okay, so Bitcoin, like just like I said before, Bitcoin can be created. The Bitcoin wallet is created by a technology called public and private key cryptography. So you have, just like your email, you have your password, and you have your email address that people can send you to. It's the same thing for Bitcoin. You have a private key, which is your password, which is should be secret, right? Like this, say private key, and then you have a public key, right? Which can be seen as this, right? So this can be like this or like this, right? So you have only one private key, but you can have multiple public keys. We can have thousands of public keys from derived from the same private key, right? So amazing. So now we're gonna try to create a Bitcoin private key. So boom. Now we just create a brand new Bitcoin private key, and then those are two brand new Bitcoin public keys, right? So those are like this. And by the way, it's not recommended. You should never use a website to generate your own public key or private key. This is dangerous because it's online. It can be hacked anytime, and then you can lose the Bitcoin. So you don't do that on you don't generate your private key on a website. You can generate a private key on your wallet. Right? I'm gonna show you how to do that. But you don't do that on a website. It's safer on a wallet on your Bitcoin on your phone. You can generate that on your wallet, Bitcoin wallet, but don't do that on a website. So this is a brand new wallet we just generated and never used. So somebody can use that address to send us some Bitcoin, and we can use that private key to sign a Bitcoin transaction to send the Bitcoin out of that address. So, so very simple idea. I don't want to go to elliptic curve, cryptography, and all of that. So we don't want to make it too complicated. But this is the simple idea. You can just generate a private and public key very simply. So uh, now we know how to generate that. Now we can go on a Bitcoin wallet. If you go on Moon, they can create you can create a Bitcoin wallet, right? Once you log in, they will give you your private key. This private key Moon create is a layer on top of the Bitcoin private key, so it's not really a Bitcoin private key, but you can still use it as your own private key. But Moon, with the Moon wallet, you can create your Bitcoin secret private key, which is in the different form, which is like the real Bitcoin words, uh, Bitcoin words. There's a number of words of collection um, of library, right? Bitcoin use to generate your own to encode it to encode it your own private key. Now, let's say you think, okay, well, what if I could generate Bitcoin private keys like this? Wouldn't it be easy for somebody else to create my own private key and then guess it, and then I lose all my Bitcoin? Well, this is extremely difficult, right, for this to be done if you don't leave your private key online, because um, the odds for that to happen is like 10 to the 77, which is this number is so large. This is the amount of atom in the universe, right? Like imagine how many grain of sands and how many things in that planet on Earth. Imagine this, right? This is the probability for somebody to guess your private key is one divided by that number, right? And this is extremely large, right? The number of atom in the universe, right? This is crazy large number. So quantum computers like are not even close to guess those private keys. It's so far away. I don't think they could ever get there. So that's how hard it is to get to guess your private key. So okay, now we know how to access the Bitcoin network. We know how to use it to interact with it. And then when like when you have your wallet, you have, let's say, this amount of Bitcoin, you want to send it. You simply need the person um, wallet address, right? Sorry, I'm gonna go here. You just need the person wallet address, and then you just send it to that address. Just say send, and then you say how much you want to send, and then you just send it. So let's uh let's step back a little bit. Now we learn about nodes, right? Um, we learn about miners, right? You know about miners. You learn about the time chain. So people call it blockchain, but it's what it is. It's a chronological order of time, right? We're coded in time. So, and all those chronological orders are recorded into a node, and that's what build that long tail chain of time, right? So again, this is what make Bitcoin so different from altcoins, is because of this chronological time. And this is why everything will just fall into Bitcoin in the long term, because that's the only chain that's not corruptible, right? Because of the mining, the energy, and the principles, right, of Bitcoin, and the security, right, the mining brings as well. So um so this is basically what Bitcoin is. And now we're gonna. I was talking about cryptos. We see a lot of crypto, for especially if you're new to the space. You see a lot of things are kind of like um, you see a lot of those cryptos kind of compare themselves to Bitcoin. They want to be like Bitcoin. They say they are better than Bitcoin and all of that. They're faster, cheaper, and then more efficient. So but what they're doing is something different, right? What those other cryptos are doing, they are doing something completely different than Bitcoin. Now they want to do, let's say, a platform for somebody to trade other currencies. For example, Ethereum, on its platform, you can send a US dollar over that network to somebody else. Uh, right? So this is a different argument. It's a different purpose, right? But Bitcoin itself, the BTC, the token, is used as a store of value because it's unbreakable, and it requires a lot of energy and time to mine it, to get it. So that's why we call it digital gold. But over the long term, people will realize it's better than digital gold because it it improves on all everything gold is, right? So it's harder, faster. You can hold it in your head. You don't have to worry about if you crossing borders and they take it from you. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to um, worry about carrying fees, right? Like you don't have to ship it to a long distance, and you don't, if you want to send it, you don't have to pay for shipping fees, right? So and all of this, but the that's why it's a digital gold. That's why the value go up so much. I'm gonna show you the chart right here. And then the best way I think is to look at the Bitcoin price is logarithmic chart, right? Logarithmic chart that goes up to the right, right? So that's the best way to look at the Bitcoin price. So we're gonna let it load. So this is the perception. We have crypto here that swallow Bitcoin. That's the perception of everybody when they come in the space. They think they think Bitcoin is inside crypto space, and they think it's like a small piece of crypto. But the reality is Bitcoin is the thing. Bitcoin is the real thing, the real deal, and everything else they are just a sideshow. And I'm gonna prove you that in a minute. And this is the Bitcoin chart. This is when you look at it, the war chart, but in the logarithmic chart, you see the trend is going up and up and up and up. Right? So, as you know, in most investment, the most important thing is the trend, right? Where the trend is going. So we can see this Bitcoin is up a huge amount, right, since its inception. Um, right, so Bitcoin is at least one like millions like tens of millions percentage since it came up, right? So now we're gonna look at why everything is a sideshow. If we look at the Bitcoin dominance, so I would suggest you guys to check on the Bitcoin dominance. I don't know if I can see it here, but it's a very good it's a very good statistic. Bitcoin dominance, I think right now it's at around, yeah, okay, yeah, so it's around 58% right now. So compared to everything else, remember we are in like the amount of crypto out there is about 2.4 million, 2.4 million crypto out there, and then we have the Bitcoin dominance is at 58% of that, right? That's more than half of that, right? That's 58. Look at this is the orange line. This is the Ethereum, yeah, 13%, and this is everything else. So, um, yes. Now, I want to conclude. So, if you want to learn more about Bitcoin, I'm going to make more and more video about this. So what Bitcoin is, I'm going to go more in detail about the specifics, the basics of Bitcoin, right? So for example, we're going to learn more about mining. You can check more of my videos about mining, how to set up your own miner, um, and then you can check about, we're gonna look at how to set up your own node as well. You can have uh, you can have your own Bitcoin node, uh, and like this node right here, right? So yeah, so we can have yeah, multiple of those videos of tutorial. Yeah, so anyways, I'm gonna leave it there, guys. I hope you enjoy. This was PieCover, and thank you for listening and watching. See you again.